Welcome, everyone. I hope
Hola
today.
Madristas, hola Madristas. Welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real. It's been, on the back of a very, monumental week that we come back here today again. Uh, it's basically, what we call a season-defining week. That was what last week was, with all the games coming thick and fast, and really important games starting from, the semi-final, or the quarter-final second leg, at the Etihad in England, and basically what was, a straight shootout, to seal the league in Spain as well. So it's been a very important week. It's a week that reminded us, again of what it means to be, a Real Madrid fan, what it means to be a Real Madrid player, and what more importantly, what the institution of Real Madrid stands for, and the kind of games, we play, and how we play them, and even more importantly, it tells us what it means, to the players to become to be Real Madrid supporters. For instance, we look at the role of the players, who are role players. Like we look at Nacho, whose form has not been the most impressive, and then come at the man. He literally stood up, against Erling Haaland, arguably the best striker in world football right now. We talk about, Lucas Vasquez. A call was made and he answered the call. The penalty, literally, he was doing keep ups before, a season defining penalty against Man City at the Etihad. And then he comes up with another, answer to another call again when Lucas Vasquez was injured. He came into the lineup against Barcelona with the form of Rafinha and Yamal. He came, he scored a goal, won a penalty, and literally shut up their wingers. So, we talk about players like Ferland Mendy as well. His limitations still exist, but he still showed us that he is the best at what he does. So this is what it means to be a Real Madrid player. We talk about players like Edu Camavinga, who's still not very sure of what he's going to be in the team. And you look at the performances he gave across two legs. We had a yellow card, and everyone was fearing that he was going to miss the second. Get the yellow card and miss the semi-final, miss the second leg, and he's still there standing. The yellow cards are white. So that's it. Again, we come back. We come back, and this is what Real Madrid does. This is who Real Madrid are, and this is basically the games that we love to play, and this is why we are fans of Real Madrid. But then today we come to talk about another Real. We talk about Real Sociedad today. We travel, to San Sebastian to play Real Sociedad on Friday. I think 9 p.m. Central European time. It's just one further hurdle, in basically what is already a La Liga victory. And today with me we have a new face, a new voice. Abik is here with me. Abik, welcome to Let's Be Real family. And how are you doing today, man? Just tell us how you're feeling. How was the week? And are you as high or as low, depending on your allegiances and lack thereof in the ties? Please talk to me.
Yeah, thanks for the welcome. It's great to be here. Honestly, I love just watching La Liga and Spanish football in general, right? So to see Real Madrid, especially the only Spanish team to go through to the semifinals, right? Barcelona got knocked out, Atletico Madrid got knocked out. Real Madrid is holding the flag of Spain up top in Europe, and so the entire 90 minutes and then the extra time, I was so freaked out. I was expecting something, dramatic, because Real Madrid has a flair for that dramatic touch, right? I did expect it to go to penalty, but even then, when you see all the players and how calm and collected they are, it was never a doubt that it was going to be Real Madrid going through. And then the weekend came and the famous Clasico took place, although it had potential to be close, but Real Madrid just took the game away at the end. And who else but Mr. Jude? He's taken the league by storm, almost catching up to the Golden Boot. I think it's just one away from Dovbyk of Girona. And so, yeah, Real Madrid has had a great week. I have personally enjoyed watching this, great display of football. And now we look forward to another week, which is going to serve as a buffer in the La Liga, because, let's be honest, they've already clinched it. They're not slipping up. Barcelona's not catching them. And so just a filler game between now and the crucial Bayern fixture that's going to come up very soon, actually. So, yeah, great week for just Real Madrid and Spanish football in general.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, and it's good to to hear your thoughts. You're just speaking from the perspective, as a pure football fan, a fan of good football. I know, yeah, certain people will come after me or whatever, But yeah, again, as well, we have Doris with us as well. Doris, it's been a long time that we haven't been on the same panel together. How have you been, Doris? How's the week been? I mean, it's been a very phenomenal week, I think. Talk to us.
Yeah, it's obviously been a really, really, really good week. We had a beautiful a Clasico that obviously got us 3 points. We're 11 points ahead of Barcelona. So what more could you ask for? We're basically um, playing to finish the league now. I think the last game was probably like the game that decided the league. So I'm not very nervous about this game. If this was earlier in the season, I would have been taken differently.
Yeah, that's very true. Like it's like it was a game that literally, as you said, sealed everything. And that's the thing. That the important thing is actually, like, unlike last season, we come to this point of the year and we're literally fighting for the important trophies. And that's literally what Real Madrid what Real Madrid are. But anyways, let's talk about what the season have been. We will get to talk about that a lot. But I was just gonna come back to you, Abik, like can you talk to us about Sociedad? Like Sociedad are sixth in the league. It's been a very like they are such an enigma. Because like they're sixth in the league. They have the 12th best defense after Real Madrid and Atletico Bilbao. They had a very
Hmm.
good start to the UCL campaign as well. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden now you look at what they're looking at. It's like they're 10 points out of the fourth position, which is the final Champions League place. They're even 7 points out of the fifth place, which is also for Europa League. And they're just 3 points
Hmm.
ahead of Real Betis, so it's behind them for the last, UEFA Conference League position as well. We talk about,
Yeah.
they were also in the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey against Mallorca, which was interesting because they
Mallorca.
defeated Mallorca just, one game before, and then they lost against Mallorca again in penalties. And it's
Hmm.
just we talk about a really good defense, but then on the other hand, the attackers, been really, really subpar. We just only two players having more than 10 goal contributions. And when we say 10 goal contributions, we mean goals scored and, goals created. So it's just
Hmm.
Kubo and Oyarzabal. And you look at the caliber of the players they have, and you'll be expecting more, Kubo, Oyarzabal, Merino, Andre Silva, Berenshire. These are
Hmm.
players that you would expect more output from. I mean, the defense is doing the job. Just it seems like the offense is what's letting them down. Talk to us about Sociedad.
Yeah, honestly, it's been like a mixed bag of a season. As you mentioned, they started off the season pretty great. I mean, their first loss did not come until the match against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and even that match they started pretty good. They scored early and had like almost equal possession, and even matched Real Madrid with the number of shots in that game. But they were just not clinical enough. And a former Real Madrid boy actually shone in that match. Takefusa Kubo. His first half in that match was splendid. Like everybody was appreciating his performance in the first half, and so there was a lot of potential for the club to just build on that performance and go forward. And if you look at the first half of the season, right, their only losses came to the big three, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid. So by the halfway point of the season, right, they still had that sort of momentum that they could have taken, right? But I think a mixture of the Champions League and like the Copa del Rey, run into the Copa del Rey, kind of broke their momentum off. But even in the Champions League group, they were unbeaten in the group. They had Inter Milan, Salzburg, Benfica, and they were top without losing. And when they played against PSG, when the draw was made, a lot of people were excited for that fixture. A lot of people were thinking, because Real Sociedad were in form, right? And if you and everybody knows Paris was having a lot of behind the scenes drama around January, February with the Mbappe thing. Luis Enrique was not letting Mbappe finish games. Sometimes he was benching them. So the Champions League performance is also, because they were in a really tough group, it was they finished second in their group, PSG. So everybody expected Real Sociedad to have like a good performance against PSG. Yeah, but they just faltered. They lost in both the legs, and I think their momentum really took a hit, especially after Kubo went to the Asian Cup. Because once he came back, he carried a lot of injuries, and he didn't start the previous game as well. It's just sad because Real Sociedad made it to the Champions League after like 9 years. Ilera Mendy left. The legends they got them to that place, and now it's up to the boys this season to take it further. And they are still fighting for that coveted fourth spot, but Atletico Madrid is 10 points ahead of them. But they do face Atletico Madrid at the end of the season. The last game is against Atletico Madrid, so in case Sociedad managed to bridge that gap, we could have a hell of a match for match day 38, for fighting for the fourth spot. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly a little bit disappointing the way the season started and the way the momentum that they had. Even Emmanuel Aguilar still his tactics, the way he set his teams up, gegenpressing, possession, zonal marking. He was just doing the best he could. It's the club of his life. He's been here all his life, and it's just sad, honestly, to see them not, especially also if you think the fact now in the social cultural perspective that their rivals Athletic Bilbao won the Copa del Rey, so they have a point to prove now. They will feel like, yeah, okay, we need to jump over them and get that coveted UCL spot, because everybody's talking about Athletic Bilbao now. The whole footballing world is celebrating Athletic Bilbao's victory because of their unique identity, right? Yeah, they have only Basque players and they don't sign anyone from outside, so people are celebrating and so much attention is being given to their Basque rivals. So Sociedad will have a point to prove, and I think if they have to start to make their final lunge into the Champions League spot, there's no better opportunity than this match where Real Madrid are expected to rotate a lot. So if there has to be a time to start, it must be now, because otherwise it'll be too late.
Yeah, we will get into the tie just in a bit, but actually, I kind of feel, I get the vibe that you have, a sense of optimism that, like that Sociedad can actually go on a run and, cover, just because the point now becomes is they're not just covering the 7 point gap between them and their rivals. They have to cover the
Hmm.
10 point gaps between them and Atletico Madrid,
Atletico,
because
yeah.
unfortunately the performances of, of Spanish teams this year in Europe has been so abysmal that, as I mentioned earlier, like we are totally away from that coveted fifth spot. It looks like it's showing going to Germany and
No,
Italy right
yeah.
now. So, do you think they can make a run to actually cover that 10 point gap and overhaul Simeone's Atletico Madrid?
See, Atletico Madrid, right? They are not in a great spot. I'm not being optimist in the sense that I'm telling that they're gonna definitely go. But if you look at Atletico Madrid's recent run, right, they have uh, not kept a clean sheet in their last 11 games in a row. Since they won 5-0 at Las Palmas, they have conceded every single time they've played. Dortmund, they collapsed against Dortmund. They collapsed against Deportivo Alaves in the previous fixture, Atletico basically. So I would not say there's a lot of optimism for Real Sociedad fans, but I think if they keep going with the momentum that they showed at the start of the season, if they could just find that fuel back, especially with Kubo now coming back from his muscular injuries, and everybody starting to just find their feet a little bit more. Berenetsia scored a goal in the previous match. Oyarzabal is moving around a lot. Javi Gala needs to step up more and just try at least the even if you can overtake Athletic Club and stay in the Europa League spot, because Athletic Club has already gone to Europe because they won the Copa del Rey, so they've already get a spot. Even if for bragging rights you can overtake Athletic Club and just say that, yeah, we finished over them in such a season where we struggled so much, that could also be at least a good point of reference for the next season, where they can be like, okay guys, we did not do so well as we expected to do, but hey, look, we still you know took over our rival spot, even though they had the stellar campaign they had and the stellar run they're having. We kind of like managed to also have a foot in the conversation.
Yeah, very true. Doris, I'll come to you now. Like, are you surprised by the fact that like Spain is not in the running for that fifth spot? Like, because we've known that Spanish teams like generally excel in Europe. I mean, we've had like Sevilla win the trophy how many times? I think even just last year they defeated Mourinho to win the trophy again, if I'm not mistaken. And of course we it's documented that we've been to the Champions League finals, and how many we've won in the past years. Four. We had a term where we had like 4 in 5 years. 6 and 8 years and stuff like that. So, uh, are you surprised that like all of a sudden, when there is incentive on the ground for Spanish teams to actually, have 5 teams and even potentially six if we won the Europa League as well. But all of a sudden, like the performances of Spanish teams are literally gone. Like we are not even in contention for that fifth spot.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty sad, but I don't think there's much that we can do from our perspective. I mean, we can only do so much for our own club, and if winning Champions Leagues, this often doesn't help. The rating, I guess. I don't know, but because
Yeah,
it's not
that's
it's not
actually,
only us. Like we've had Villarreal win the Europa recently. They've been to the semifinals with Liverpool beat Bayern. It's not for nothing, But I guess it is for in that context.
Yeah, actually, Doris, the thing about this fifth spot is actually like it only takes into consideration the performance of the team this year. You know, that's the thing. Like this year is actually there. So like whatever the team does this year, that's what eventually decides who gets the fifth spot. Actually, it's not like a long term thing. If it
And
was a
that's
long term
just
thing, I think.
important. Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
unfortunate
yeah, exactly
if it's
right.
just this
Yeah, yeah.
season. Because
No, you know.
if it's just this season, it would seem that Germany is doing incredible every season, which is not.
Exactly, exactly. I totally agree with you. And actually, like CDs in the chat here is talking about the fact that Barcelona and Atletico Madrid let Spain down in the UCL. Definitely, I totally agree because both Barca and Atleti, we're going into the second leg of the ties with an advantage, and they both, Barcelona, like it was a catastrophic collapse, and yeah, Atletico did what is really surprising. That again, that thing that we always talk about, like, are they finding the identity? Will they find the identity or not? Because we want to think back to the first Simeone teams we knew, and like definitely they were not losing that game in Dortmund, But then of course the yellow wall can also be very very overwhelming. I think it's the right time, just to take a break and discuss about our sponsors, Manscaped. Manscaped are the pioneers, for below the waist grooming. And other than that, they also have a lot of apparels that you can, find on the website manscaped.com. And our collaboration actually allows our listeners to get a 20% discount off of, Manscaped, also products from Manscaped. And the links, are down in the description below, and also they are linked in the live chat. And yeah, you guys have been supporting us from day one, and you've always asked if you can do more. How can you do more? And this is just the way, you can support us by going to manscaped.com and, telling your friends about it using the code LBR20. I repeat myself, LBR20. Put in the code at checkout, and you can get a 20% discount on any product of your choice. And yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of things you can get there include just loungewears, boxers, trimmers, clippers, and below the waist grooming equipment, shavers, and so on and so forth. And the prices are really good. And I will tell you firsthand experience that they are basically some of the best that I have used in my life, honestly. And that says a lot, honestly. So I will, just leave the ground now. Let's hear from Doris, and let's see what she has to say about Manscaped.
This episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions Manscaped, and this season we partnered up with them to make sure everyone's grass is cut up to standard because Xavi has been complaining and it's been annoying our secretary. So join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this special offer. Go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at checkout. So introducing this season's MVP is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's a trimmer with two blade heads, one to just take, a little off the top, or the foil blade basically to go super smooth. And you can use this in the shower. It has two bright LED spotlights, so there's no accidents in the shower. And yeah, it's waterproof, it's easy to clean. You can put this in your travel bag, in your drawer. So to get the full grooming experience, you should get the Beard Hedger Pro Kit and the Handyman Electric Face Shaver. Basically, you get extra parts to really create your signature look and clean up your neckline. So use code LBR20 at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping. That's LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And thank you for watching. Back to the video. Farok, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Welcome back. And as you've heard, at the outbreak, by using Manscaped, we at Let's Be Real, we will thank you, and more importantly, your boss will thank you even more. So yeah, let's get back and let's just go quickly through some comments in the chat, and before we delve into the whole preview again. So we have Seed again here, like, hello, Mr. Vic, big fan. So yeah, man, can you just tell our listeners, what's the thing with you and Sid, man? Like let's see. It's okay to badmouth Sid, it's not a problem. Like Sid is a very cool guy. There's nothing he can do.
Sorry, can you repeat your question once again?
Yeah, I was like, Sid is in the chat. He was like, "Hello, Mr. Vic, big fan." So I was like, "Can you just, tell the listeners or the viewers, like what's between you and Sid?" And I'm like, "It's more than cool, to badmouth Sid as well. It's totally fine."
No. Honestly, Sid is a great friend. He's helped me out a lot, and he's introduced me to this podcast as well. So I've had a lot of pleasure listening to his fan cams and the content that he puts out on the YouTube. And yeah, Sid has just, I'm not gonna badmouth him. I mean, I don't have anything to badmouth to him. He's just been a great friend. He's helped me out with a lot of issues in Madrid. Just with the visas and residence and stuff like that. So yeah, man, he's just lying with the big fan part. He's just an asshole with that. But I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but I'm sorry for that language. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
just a cool dude, man.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, and also I just want to again shout out Sid. Like with the fan cams and all, like it's a real hustle. Honestly, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort and energy. To find people to speak to and do the editing and all that. So yeah, shout out Sid and the team in Madrid. Yeah, let's go on. We have Rajat here. Rajat's like, "Hi, what's up, panel?" Hi, Rajat. Thanks for tuning in again as usual. Rajat, one of the very very OG fans. OG viewers, appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Sid also talks about the fact that he expected Betis to do well in the Europa League, but yeah, they got knocked out as well. And Rajat's like, Atletico will never win the Champions League. Well, from the looks of it, I would say, I cannot disagree with that. And Sid was like, "Oh, Farouk used it on Valentine's Day." I think he's talking about what's it called, the Manscaped products. Well, as they say, gentleman doesn't kiss and tell, so let's just leave it as that. And yeah, we have Rajat as well, like, "Hi, Vic, what's up?" So yeah, Vic, you have a lot of fans in the chat, man. I mean,
Hey Rajat,
yeah,
man, nice to. If you have any questions, just shoot it my way about La
you
Liga and
know,
Spanish football, anything in general.
I'm sure Jacob is somewhere. He's gonna watch this later. He's a bit busy now and be like, "Yo, Vic wants to take all my shine, man." I mean, Jacob is like our OG stan all of a sudden, then you're coming with your glow and want to take everything away from Jacob, man.
No. I wish I would have
Yeah,
met Jacob on this call. He seemed like a chill dude on the podcast that I've seen so far.
yeah, that definitely. Jacob is the OG dude, man. Like you have no case with Jacob,
Yeah,
man. I mean, it's we're gonna do a lot of this more, so it's not a problem, like we have a lot of
yeah,
time. But anyways, like let's
yeah.
delve back into the preview. So the last time we met, you also talked about that earlier, Vic. You talked about the fact that it was a 2-1 victory. Berenshire scored, I think, in the first 5 minutes or something like that, and
Mm,
they had really a very very good first half, and then we responded in
mm,
the second half, with Freddie scoring, and then eventually Jose Lu scored the win, I think, in the 70th or 80th
mm,
minute or something like that. But I come to you, Doris,
mm.
like, what do you think we're going to see, in the game on Friday, considering the fact that Real Madrid plays Bayern Munich, at the Allianz just 4 days later in this first leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final, and Bayern are literally not playing for anything. They're out of the cup. Already Leverkusen and Alonso have won the league, and also basically, as you also attested to it, they're like, we almost have won the league as well. So so like, what should we see in this game, considering the fact that there's almost nothing on the line on Friday? What are you expecting to see?
Well, um, first of all, I've been saying for so many games now, Valverde should not be playing, and he's been playing every single game, 90 minutes, extra time, all of it. And I think it's finally, time for him to rest, because we're gonna need him against Bayern. Like you said, it's a really really big game, and since we kind of already clutched the game, the season. I'm sorry, um, the league. I think it's also time, to rest possibly some players, but that's been way too ambitious, considering the job is not done yet still. And Sociedad is definitely not an easy game. So I guess we'll see. Um, it will also be a game that we have to play Militao. We've seen like bits and pieces over the last two games, but I'm expecting him to probably play a bit more.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like Jude, rest, Fede, and I also add just Jude to that list as well. Like they've literally played, till they can't play anymore. But I'd come to you, Vic, as well, man. Like, what are you expecting to see in this game?
Yeah, that's why when I mentioned Real Sociedad previously, right, I told that this is if they really want to get their season a little bit on track, this is their best chance. As Doris mentioned, there's going to be a lot of rotations. I think Eder Militao is the person that is going to be playing for match fitness, but like a lot of rotations are going to be made, and Real Sociedad will have to take advantage of it, and especially at the Real Arena, where if you look at last season, Real Madrid lost there as well. At Real Sociedad. So it's never an easy away game at Real Sociedad. That Anoeta, the curse of Anoeta is real. So I believe that with all the changes that they're going to make, and if the tactics from Alguacil click, and I just feel like this is their only chance to starting a redemption track, for Real Sociedad. I feel like if they lose this match, right, they still have three tough matches to go: Real Betis, Atletico Madrid, and FC Barcelona. So this is the only match they will have an opportunity to like start their momentum. And I need to see some passion from Real Sociedad. The season has not been that much as we expect of them, but. Real Madrid, you can never, even if they play a rotated squad, even if they play a bench squad, you can never take them lightly. Carlo Ancelotti never takes the competition lightly. Yeah, the title is wrapped up. Barcelona's never catching up, but he wants to go on. He's not gonna like just sit back and raise his eyebrows and let the magic happen. No, he's gonna go all out. I feel he's gonna get some good fitness for the players who haven't played for a while, and those who will play maybe as a substitute role coming late into the game just to get themselves warmed up for the Bayern game.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And just touch upon something that I would want to go to Doris to. Like you talk about Carlo Ancelotti and his very famous eyebrows. Doris, like you know how the season started with Benzema leaving, Jude coming in, the lack of a striker. Can Jude be the 4-4-2 guy? Can he not be? Can he be the striker? What's gonna happen or what's not gonna happen? And here we are at the end of the season. He's basically won La Liga. He's in the semi-final of the Champions League, and whatever happens this season already is a success. Whatever happens from now till the end of the season, and then you have stupid people like me who are like, yeah, Carlo out. We don't want Carlo to do this job anymore. So tell me, what's up with Carlo Ancelotti, man? How does he keep doing this over and over every single year?
I mean, you said it already. It's true. It's the eyebrow. There is no other explanation. I don't think he knows himself either. And if you watch the watch alongs, I always say, it's just vibes. And in all honesty, it also requires some luck. And football, as much as you can train and play well, play badly, whatever, there's always an element of luck, especially like doing like over the whole season. You're gonna experience some luck, some bad luck, and we've honestly been kind of lucky with Jude. I don't think anyone expected him to be this good, and probably Ancelotti didn't expect him to be this good either. So he got lucky there too, and we will probably be having a different conversation if Jude was not scoring this much. Like a completely different conversation.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you to some extent, but what I would say is this, like, we talk about luck, and everyone knows how I feel about Carlo Ancelotti and what he has done at the club and lack thereof. But the point is this, like, this is something that keeps repeating itself. After a while, you kind of start to imagine that this man manufactures his own luck. It's not just luck about I toss a coin and it's heads or tails. He literally like manufactures his own luck and puts himself in situations where his players will just get him over the line or something like that. So that's the thing. Like you look at I talked about earlier about how it was natural against Haaland. Like all of us in the preview, like that's the doubt we had was like, yeah, like Haaland's gonna eat natural up, but like at the Etihad, the first moment, I think it was the first touch or the second touch Haaland had, Nacho literally flicks the ball away from him. You look at Lucas Vasquez. You go to the Clasico and you see how Lucas Vasquez was performing. I totally agree with the point about the lack of if Jude was didn't score as much as he had scored in the first half of the season, it would have been a problem. But yeah, I totally agree with that. And also like Jude, of course, he's not a striker, but we just got lucky that everything he touched in the first half of the season was just gold. Because I feel like the second half of the season tells us more about Jude, about at least from a goal scoring capacity, because you could see there are a lot of good games that even he didn't score goals, but like they were really, really good games as well. But yeah, that's the thing. Like Carlo does what he does, but I'll come back to you against and ask you like, I mean, like what's up with Carlo Ancelotti? Do you think like it's just all luck and vibes, and the eyebrows are like is there more to that?
No, there is something, certainly something special about that guy. Why hasn't anybody else figured out how to beat him, or how to like, get across him? You see, I think his biggest strength is adaptability. Like everybody talks about total football and stuff like that, where players play multiple positions and everybody has to take more than one role. But we make a lot of memes about Kamavinga or Chouameni playing in the center back and all that stuff, but look at how he trusts his players to do the job. He can, of course, he can always go to La Fabrica and pick up some youth prospects that he can, who know the club and who know the positions that should be played according to what the team needs. But he knows that whoever he puts wherever, they're gonna deliver. And I think that's what makes him so unpredictable. As Doris was saying, nobody expected Jude to be this good. 17 goals in his debut season for a club like Real Madrid. How many people have done that? Cristiano Ronaldo was the only one that comes close. And this is Jude Bellingham, a 20-year-old guy from Birmingham who in Borussia Dortmund, he was, yeah, of course we saw his potential, but then nobody saw his goal scoring or his attacking this sort of threat. And first season under Ancelotti, and he transforms into a beast. And now every other player has multiple roles. Whether it's Kamavinga, Chouameni, even the forwards up there, they can play in multiple positions. He's trained Rodrigo from left wing to the right wing, and now he excels in like both of the positions. So I think the eyebrow, yeah, of course that matters, but also matters is how nobody can read that guy. You just never know where he's gonna put whoever. Don't be surprised if you see Bellingham someday playing as right back or something. you know that's the nature of that. That's of the maestro. You just can't expect anything. You just can't go having an expectation and think that, okay, yeah, we have a game plan, we have a tactic against this man, and yeah, he'll just surprise you all the time.
Yeah, definitely. That's why he goes by the name Don Carlo, and the man lives the life on us. I remember they were talking about the fact that I can't remember. Yeah, I remember they were talking about when he was, at Milan at that 2000 in 2007. He was coming to training, with a helicopter because he lived in Como. And like Como is, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but like Como is like a lakeside that's actually on the outskirts of Milan. Like it's a really beautiful place, like, and he lives there, and like, rather than commuting with the train or whatever, his wife was a helicopter pilot, so like they literally just have a chopper in their compound, and the man just literally lands in them. I mean, how can you even beat that? Like this
What a
is some
badass,
this
man. I mean,
exactly, man.
imagine that is your coach. Imagine you come to
Exactly,
play and this
exactly.
guy is dropping in a helicopter like a Bollywood movie or something. Come on,
Exactly,
this is unfair.
exactly, exactly. And let's not forget as well, Carlo was someone who played for, great Milan sides. They won Champions Leagues, they won leagues, and it's not
Yeah.
like just someone who is a good coach or shit like that. It's someone that was actually a
Mm,
player and was a very decorated
hmm.
player as well. So that also adds to all of that. But yeah, I mean, but that wouldn't still change my mind, man. I mean, honestly, I still feel like Carlo is not the man to lead our team forward. But yeah, at least for now, he's getting the job done one way or another, like whether we like it or not. But yeah,
Hmm.
eventually, as they would say, the whole point of playing a football match is to win the game, right? So you get the 3 points
Yeah,
and you move
and
on.
it's also very rare to see like good players, as you mentioned, transform into good managers and long and consistent managers. You see Carlo, he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
He played such a glorious career, and then he transformed into management. and he started so long back, and he still got it. He's still going on, and there was like, of course, we know there was talks of him taking over the Brazilian national team as well, but he chooses to stay because he trusts in the project. Even after so many years, he doesn't forget his craft. He doesn't get bored, or he doesn't like, all right, I've won enough. I've had enough Champions League under my belt. I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of my life in sunny Italy or somewhere. But no, he just wants to go on and on and on. And I don't know how many more records or how many more titles he's gonna bring under the belt. But I hope for sure he does more for Spanish football. Like he brings more and more titles for us. I'll be glad if that happens.
Yeah, man, why not? I mean, as long as at Real Madrid, yeah, definitely, more titles to the Spanish Federation and all that. Although they don't like us, but anyways, it is what it is. We're just the flag bearers. But yeah, let's just start to wrap this up slowly. I just want to ask you, like, what do you think it's going to be the what lineup are we going to expect for Friday, like from Sociedad? Like, can you just give us a look at what you would expect to see?
Yes, I think, of course, Ramiro in goalkeeping has been one of the standouts performers for Real Sociedad and in the league. I think between him and Lunin, someone's gonna get the player of the season or gonna make it into the team of the season. It's either gonna be those two because they have both been phenomenal, and it's gonna be a great contest to see Ramiro on one side and Lunin on the other side, and how they're. I don't think it's gonna be Lunin. I think it's gonna be Kepa playing for Real Madrid, but still, it's gonna be a fascinating fixture coming up. I think on right back, Traore started the Getafe game, but I think Odriozola might take the cake on this one because, of course, he has ties to Real Madrid in the past. I think Alguacil will bet on him to just use his experience and his time with the club to, have a little bit of a tactical advantage. So I see Odriozola starting, and of course, Javi Galan has got that left back spot. He's made that his own, no doubt about that. Center back pairing Lenormand and Pacheco have been, all right. I would say not that great, not that good, but the advantage they've had is they've worked with. I mean, Lenormand especially has worked with Alguacil since the youth days. Since Alguacil was in the Real Sociedad C, Real Sociedad D, he's been there. Lenormand. He's born in France, but he wants to represent Spain, so he knows whatever Alguacil wants him to do, he will definitely do. And Zubimendi is coming back from injury, so I expect him to maybe come into the game a little bit late. But in the front line, if you look, Driozola has got the number 10 locked in. Barrenetxea is in good form. And Takefusa Kubo, I expect him to start because, again, the Real Madrid link and the fact that he was stellar against them in the first game and also in the previous game last season. So if the trainings and everything, he recovers in time, I expect Takefusa Kubo to also start. And also, one thing I feel is missing from Real Sociedad is Andre Silva, right? He's not performed at all since he's joined in the club, and everybody expected him to excel. Because you look at his seasons at Frankfurt and Leipzig, he was just tailor made for a team like Real Sociedad. But he's just got 2 goals in 15 games. But I think around. I don't think he's going to start. But if, let's say, Real Sociedad need like a goal and they need to like ping balls across, because they play a lot of crosses, they stretch the game, they take it wide to the touch lines and they play in the crosses or they cut inside. So if they need like a target man to like try to finish off the game or like chase the game, score chances towards the end of the game, I think we might see an appearance as a substitute for Andre Silva. Yeah, so that would be my
Yeah,
thing.
that's it. Like, that's one thing about Andre Silva is like he's never, found a way to transfer that form, that he had in Germany to anywhere else he's been. That's quite an interesting case. But you also make a point about the fact that, he's a big guy. So, if you're chasing the game or like, there is an opening here and there and the game is still evenly balanced, 70 minutes, 75 minutes, like he's a very great option.
Mm,
And the good thing about Andre Silva also is like he's also really quite fast as well, so he's not like you're
mm,
just, put in a target man who cannot run. Like he's also quite mobile, so you still have that opportunity, to go on a break and stuff like that. So it might be interesting to see how it goes. But I'm gonna go to Doris for our own lineup. But before we do that, I just wanna remind. I can see we have 8 people watching us right now. And if you're new here, just drop a like and subscribe to the channel. So we do this a lot, and of course, like the interaction we get from you guys, as we were talking about earlier, like we had like Sid and Rajat in the chat, like that's what makes this more fun. So yeah, please just hit the like button, subscribe and hit the bell as well, so you can get notified when we schedule one of these things that we talk about. And yeah, hopefully it's all good. Well, anyways, like let's get back to you. Like Doris, what are you expecting to see on Friday? What's the lineup gonna be like?
Uh, um, like I said, yeah, probably we're gonna see more Militao We we're probably gonna need him ready at some capacity for Bayern. Um, Rudiger, as always, we could see a game from Vasquez again. I'm not sure for Carvajal. Is he suspended? I must have been.
Carval, he suspended? No, well, he was injured, no? Carval was injured, that's why he didn't play.
Oh, okay.
He was on the
Um,
bench against Barcelona, but he didn't play because he was injured.
I misremembered. Yeah. So we'll probably see Carvajal then, knowing Ancelotti. And again, it is still an important game. Like the season is not over, even though it probably kind of is. But knowing Ancelotti is gonna be Carvajal, Rudiger, uh, Nacho with an appearance from Militao, Mendy back at left back because I think he's better now. He's not injured. Valverde, as always, that man does not get rest. With him will probably be um, Jude Bellingham. Again, no rest. Cruz, um, probably Vinicius and Rodrigo. And I would hope to see an appearance from Brahim because I think he's probably been one of our better players this season. And he would
I
be
totally agree with that
a really
sentiment.
good asset against
Yeah.
Bayern and would probably be good to have him ready and fired up.
Yeah, actually, but I kind of get where you're coming from, actually, Doris. But again, I kind of feel like you're literally naming the whole, Galacticos exile. Like, I mean, it's Jude, it's Rodrigo, it's
Exactly.
Vinicius. It's
Like I said, knowing before I said that, I said knowing Ancelotti.
true, true.
I'm being realistic here, not what I want to see. You you said what I expect to see on Friday, and I expect to see that knowing Ancelotti.
Yeah, I cannot deny that, when you say it like that, there is no argument to that because if anything that we know with Ancelotti is that he has, just a trusted group of players, and unless it's absolutely necessary, he runs them literally into the ground, They die, we put their tombstone there and their ghost plays, that's just how it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
So I cannot, I cannot go against that. But I mean, what I okay, maybe I expect to see what you said, but what I want to see most likely is, it's going to be most likely Jude is out, either Rodrigo or Vinicius is out. So it's going to be Joselu and Brahim Diaz starting, for Jude and someone. I think Fede is going to play because I feel like Fede is just that one guy that I think everyone believes that, yeah, this guy never, he doesn't understand the term fatigue, like his body doesn't do that. It's a foreign concept to him. So I think there is that. But also, like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see a player like Frank Garcia as well, in place of Fola Mendy. Well, yeah, again, just shout out to Mendy because I've been one of the people that have always called out his limitations, and the limitations do exist. It's not like we're lying or we're saying something that's not there. And even in the games against City, the limitations were there, but he just showed us again that why he's the best at what he does, which is basically defending. In my opinion, he's the best defensive fullback in world football. I just can't think of a better defender, at least when it comes to fullback. So that's one thing, honestly. Like, it would be great to see some, to see some changes there. But yeah, I would just stick to what Doris said because that's what we should expect. It's Carlo, like what's he called, Jude Bellingham and Friday Valverde. They play till they die. Yeah, we have some new. Okay, yeah, Sid here is like Farouk. No, Carlo is love. If you could remember, Abik, I told you earlier, like yeah, Sid is gonna die on the heel of Carlo in, and I'm gonna die on my heel of Carlo out. So that's just something that's not changing.
Lovely banter, man.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. So yeah, I think we can just round this up with the predictions. I don't know, I think since you're new, maybe you want to go first and see, tell us what you think the game is gonna look like.
Well, that's the thing, right? If Carlo decides to rotate, I think that's where Real Sociedad will have at least a chance of getting a result. But as you guys mentioned, he takes everything so seriously. right? So I think Real Madrid might take the cake on this one. Real Sociedad, I think Real Madrid is going to get 2-0 over Real Sociedad. Even though I would want Real Sociedad to have a good game and get the momentum to get a good spot in the European positions, but it's just going to be too hard, I feel. So 2-0
Fair,
for me,
true.
Real Madrid.
Sooner Real Madrid. Doris, do you think of a different scoreline?
Um, I think it's gonna be 2-0 for Madrid.
2-0 as well. Interesting. That's a fair one. Yeah, for me, I actually think it's going to be more of a draw. I think it's going to be like a 2-2 draw. The game is going to be a tie. I don't. Yeah, I am thinking so because I feel like hopefully like Ancelotti rests a lot of players and that interrupts the rhythm of the team. And I think like a 2-2 result would be a fair. I mean, it would be a fair price to play as long as the players are rested. So I feel
Hmm.
like if he's resting players, I think it's only fair, to expect something. As you also mentioned, like for Sociedad, there's a lot riding in this game. It's a game that they will also consider that they can get something from. So I think
Yeah,
we should. But more importantly, I think we're going to see a very good game at the Anoeta. That's one thing I love about playing Sociedad.
yeah,
We talked about they have the third best defensive team in Spain this year, but it's not because they were packing two line of fives, shit like that. Like
hmm.
playing against, as you mentioned, like playing against Alguacil's team is like, they have a way of playing and it's always interesting to play against them. So eventually,
Yeah.
first and foremost, you want to enjoy the game and obviously, as well, get a result here and there. So yeah, I think with that we come to the end. And before we end, I just want to put Abik on the spot and be like, yeah, man, how was it? Like, this is your first time on. Like, Sid was like bombarding me. Please do not eat my boy. Don't feed him to the streets and shit like that. And like, okay,
No, I mean, I had a lot of fun. It's great. It's just any moment that I get discussing Spanish football with anyone, it's just a great pleasure for me. And especially with such an enthusiastic bunch who are so passionate talking the sport is just great for me. It's just great for me to have this company, and I just loved every minute of it. I truly enjoyed this opportunity. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Sid, also for this, and thanks to you guys as well for hosting me.
yeah, Sid the matchmaker, right? Yeah, yeah, as well. Shout out to Doris as well. She has a very very cool ink. I don't know if you guys. Actually, I saw it on the preview, but yeah, I have to shout out the very cool ink as well. Maybe Doris has to hook me up with someone. I don't know if I ever have the what's it called? Yeah, if I ever have the courage to do that, I would say.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. All right then. Without further ado, like we all know how we sign out, and I will start by saying, "Hala Madrid."
Hala Madrid.
Should I say something?